Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rosslyn Hill Chapel, a spiritual home for open minds. I'm Allison Bybee, and I'm the current chair of the Board of Trustees for this beautiful chapel. Today, we consider our monthly theme of paying attention, and hopefully we will practice the act of paying attention too. We have a creche for children aged 2 to 5 and a children's program, Bright Lights for older children. Babies under 2 are welcome in the creche if accompanied by an adult. Please do join us for refreshments in the side aisle after the service. If you're watching at home, hello! You can join the virtual side aisle at midday. The Zoom link was sent out in the weekly email, and you can also find it via the link in the YouTube description. Our bookcase library is now available every Sunday, where you can borrow books about Unitarianism, and return them too, please, and other world religions and philosophies too. If you wish to borrow a book, please write your details in the blue book before removing it. After the service, we are offering a theme circle discussion to continue our thoughts about this month's theme. So grab a cuppa and join Reverend Kate from 12:15. At 2:30, we host the annual gathering of the Hindu group, the Brahmo Samaj, which has historic links with Unitarians. You're welcome to come to that event too. At 6 p.m. this evening, we have our regular 30-minute mindfulness. Then at 7 p.m., our evening gathering is Soul Fuel, our spiritual open mic. You can find information about these and all our activities in your service sheet and on our website. We are an independent registered charity, and we rely on your contributions to continue our work. The collection will be taken in the chapel during the closing music at the end. Your contribution this month will be divided between chapel upkeep and our good cause for March, which is toilet twinning, which supports sustainable sanitation projects around the world. We're particularly keen on their work to provide facilities in schools which enable girls and young women to continue their education. We light our chalice as a symbol of our free and questioning faith, today with words by Scott Taylor. We kindle this light to help us look upon the world anew. May it help us remember that reverent eyes lead to revelation. In the glow of this hour, may attention be our prayer, the vehicle through which we love this world and enable it to love us back. We light a second candle as a prayer for peace and in recognition of the conflicts that are taking place around the world. We continue to hope that through our thoughts and actions, we can walk the path of peace.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Reverend Kate Dean. I serve as the minister for this wonderful spiritual community. Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, there is a place for you here in our community. Whatever your race or gender, sexuality, class, age, physical and mental capability, we welcome you here in the spirit of love. Now, we come together each Sunday and we do like to get to know one another. So I'd ask you now to please turn to someone near you, say your name and welcome them to chapel. Just listen out to the music, which will be your signal to end your conversation. But let's welcome each other now. Thank you, everyone. I do hope we can continue our conversation over tea after the service. But for now, let's sing our first hymn. It's in your purple Sing Your Faith hymn book. It's hymn number 43, Gather the Spirit. And as is our custom, please listen to the introduction, then rise as you're able to sing hymn number 43. Please be seated. Except for the children, any young people, anyone young at heart, I have a story to share with you. Good morning. So, let's see if this is working. I think so. Hello, hello. Yes, well done. Just power out. So, I've got this story to share with everyone, and it's called Look Up. And it's by Nathan Byron with some wonderful pictures, so you may want to have a look at it afterwards. Because we're going to be talking, the grown-ups are going to be thinking about how to pay attention, because sometimes we get kind of stuck looking down here, and we should be paying attention to the whole world. So this story is about this little girl called Rocket. Rocket says, "Every night before bed, I set up my telescope and I look up at the stars. Mum tells me that I never stop looking up and my head is always floating in the clouds. But she can't tell me that I look up more than my big brother Jamal looks down at his silly phone." Jamal says, "I'm called a rocket because I've got fiery breath. But Mum says it's because a famous rocket blasted off into space the day I was born. All I know is that one day I'm going to be the greatest astronaut, star catcher, space traveller who has ever lived, like Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space." Now, Rocket loves facts, and every so often, throughout the book, she gives us lots of different facts. I'm going to skip over those, and you can read them later. Rocket says, "I'm totally prepared. I've defied gravity by swinging on a swing. I've captured rare and exotic life forms," and she's got her insect net there, capturing rare and exotic life forms, "and built a ship to the stars out of cardboard. For today's mission, I'm going to see something incredible, the Phoenix meteor shower." And she's making an announcement to all of her toys that seem to be reporters from the press. So she's making her press announcement, and she's made a wonderful poster to encourage everyone to see the meteor shower with her. "Jamal is going to take me to the park so that we can see the meteor shower. But first we have to go to the supermarket. While he's looking for the milk, I'll be trying to find astronaut food." In the supermarket, when Kathy, the cashier, isn't looking, I grab the microphone and I make an announcement. "Tonight, come out and witness the amazing Phoenix meteor shower." And everyone who's been looking down, looking for all of their different items for shopping, suddenly look up. Kathy takes her microphone back and I hand out my flyers to the other people in the queue. I think Jamal might be a bit cross with me. Rocket's saying to Jamal, "The Phoenix meteor shower will come soon. We'd better drop off the shopping and get to the park fast." They're walking along the street and Jamal's just looking down at his phone, and whoops, a car drives past and splashes Jamal as he's looking down because he's too busy looking at his phone. "Ha ha," says Rocket, "that wouldn't have happened if you had just looked up." Now Jamal is even more cross. And he says he won't take me to the park anymore. But when we get home, Mum saves the day. "Come on, Jamal," she says, "put that phone down and take your little sister to the park." Yes. She says, I jump around and do my famous victory dance all around the house. So just as they're about to leave, all of their friends and neighbours show up. They've taken the flyers and they've decided they're all going to go to the park together. They're all so excited. And they wait and they look up. And suddenly the park goes silent, and even the birds seem to be holding their breath. Everyone's pointing their telescopes, and I say, "I think I see one." But it's just a plane flying overhead, and everyone moans and groans, and we wait and wait and wait, and one by one everyone leaves the park because they don't want to wait any longer. Maybe the Phoenix meteor shower was just a myth, thinks Rocket. Maybe that's why Jamal didn't want to come along. Maybe everyone is upset with me for wasting their time. Jamal says, Rocket thinks, "I've never ever felt this sad before." And Jamal looks at me for the first time today. It feels like the first time ever. And he says, "I've turned my phone off, sis." "I'm sorry for making you wait in this freezing cold for nothing, Jamal," I say. "Let's go home." Suddenly, there's a bright light from the sky. And we all look up and see the Phoenix meteor shower. "I'm speechless," Jamal says. He pulls out a flask and gives me a warm cup of hot chocolate. Yummy. We both sit down on the hill, watching the meteors zooming across the sky. I'm so happy we looked up and saw them together. So it's good to look up from our phones sometimes, guys. Thank you for listening so well, and I do hope you enjoy your activities at Bright Lights. Let's sing the children out. Thank you so much. I invite you now into a time of prayer and meditation. We come together in fellowship each Sunday with hearts full of joy and full of concern. We think of those friends and loved ones who are unwell, in hospital, or suffering losses of many different kinds. And we look forward with hope in our hearts. If you are holding someone in your heart this morning, I invite you to say their name aloud in the coming moments of stillness, so that we may also hold them in our prayers. Spirit of life and love, God of our hearts, we give thanks for those who bring us joy, and we pray for the safekeeping of those whom we hold in concern. For all those names, spoken and unspoken, may they be surrounded by the loving kindness that we offer them today. Blessed be, and Amen. Our reading today is a meditative poem with some music. It's called Sometimes by Mary Oliver. And I think we can claim Mary Oliver, the American poet, as one of us because of her love of beauty, of reflection and attention to the natural world, which has such an affinity with our own Unitarian reverence for nature and celebration of life. She was certainly a master of paying attention. And we're going to practice this now by hearing her wonderful poem, Sometimes. I'm going to read it quite slowly with a little music in between the stanzas. So feel free to receive this as a meditation, so close your eyes if you'd like, as I read Sometimes by Mary Oliver. Something came up out of the dark. It wasn't anything I had ever seen before. It wasn't an animal or a flower, unless it was both. Something came up out of the water, a head the size of a cat, but muddy and without ears. I don't know what God is. I don't know what death is. But I believe they have something, but I believe they have between them some fervent and necessary arrangement. Sometimes melancholy leaves me breathless. Water from the heavens, electricity from the source, both of them mad to create something. The lightning brighter than any flower, the thunder without a drowsy bone in its body. Instructions for living a life. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it. 3 times in my life I discovered love. Each time it seemed to solve everything. Each time it solved a great many things, but not everything. Yet left me as grateful as if it had indeed and thoroughly solved everything. God, rest in my heart and fortify me. Take away my hunger for answers. Let the hours play upon my body like the hands of my beloved. Let the cat head appear again, the smallest of your mysteries, some wild cousin of my own blood, probably. Some cousin of my own wild blood in the black dinner bowl of the pond. Death waits for me, I know it, around one corner or another. This doesn't amuse me. Neither does it frighten me. After the rain, I went back into the field of sunflowers. It was cool, and I was anything but drowsy. I walked slowly and listened to the crazy roots in the drenched earth, laughing and growing. And as we return from that meditation, let us take up our hymn books once again, and this time sing hymn number 21, Come and Find the Quiet Centre. Hymn number 21. Please be seated. I invite you now into a short time of prayer and meditation. Let us take some time now in the stillness and silence to reflect on the role attention plays in our lives. Do we find ourselves able to slow down, noticing the signs of spring perhaps? Or do we feel that life is rushing by? Let us pay attention to our breath and reflect on this as we enter into the stillness. And as we move into our music for reflection, you are invited to keep your eyes closed or come forward to light a candle for a joy or a concern. Our story in the Time for All Ages offers encouragement to look up and pay attention to the world around us and the skies beyond our world. It is so tempting, isn't it, to rush around, heads down, trying to get to where we need to go. Staring at a smartphone, or like the brother in Look Up, or caught up in our own anxieties. Yet the poet Mary Oliver offers us instructions for living a life that is so simple, really. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it. And as we have heard, Oliver's poetry is filled with examples and encouragement to slow down and to attend to what's most important to us. To pay attention is a spiritual practice. It is the foundation of a grateful life and the beginning of spiritual and personal growth. This week, at our outreach project Heart Spaces in central London, we hosted a session called Mystic of the Month. And in this season of Ramadan, marked by our Muslim friends, and Lent in the Christian calendar, we explored the life and work of two extraordinary mystics, Rabia of Basra and Hildegard of Bingen. Though one was an 8th century Muslim ascetic from Iraq, and the other was a 12th century Benedictine abbess from the Rhineland in Germany, they both offer us ways to re-enchant our modern lives simply by thinking about where we place our attention. Rabia's path was one of radical, selfless love that sought the beloved God for God's sake alone. This went beyond religious actions in the hopes of entering paradise or fear of being sent elsewhere. After the horrors of servitude, she was freed and led a life of zuhd, or asceticism, letting go of material possessions and responsibilities, which enabled a deeper connection with the divine. Rabia's example challenges us to identify the attachments that pull us away from being present. If we're always checking our phones, or overworking, or trying to pursue some unattainable goal in some way, we can't return to what's most important to us. She lived a life of extreme simplicity and inwardness, and her letting go allowed her to clear space for the beloved. Another way to approach this is a thought experiment in Octavia Rahim's book, Rest. She suggests that we imagine, if today were the last day of the world as you know it, what would you be doing? Would you still be multitasking, or would you finally pay attention and savor the now? When we try to pay attention in this way, we can discover that our own inner wells have become blocked in some way or depleted. And I think this is where the wisdom of Rabia can really help us flourish in such challenging times. She teaches us to let go of all of that clutter of material possessions that prevent us from seeing, really seeing. And our other mystic, Hildegard, then teaches us to pay attention to the greening power that can rise within us, the greening power of divinity in all things. Hildegard invites us to pay attention to what she called viriditas, or greening power. And for her, the divine life was pulsing, full of vitality in all things, from the verdant green leaves in the forest to the breath that keeps our bodies alive. These days, so many people seem to face the opposite of viriditas: aridity, dryness. the dryness of burnout, of feeling disconnected from others, and even the looming shadow of the climate crisis. Hildegard's gifts ranged from musical composition to writing about the care of the body through herbal medicine. And she reminds us that just as the waters and the abyss show the strength of God's power, so also the soul, which yearns for God, shows its strength and power in good works, in good activities and actions. And so to pay attention in this way is to notice where life is blooming and where the land is a bit more parched. Recognizing the connection between our own blooming, our health and our bodies, and the health of the earth. So let us pause at this point to pay a little attention to Hildegard's words. This would have been an antiphon, a plain song chant called Caritas Abundat, abundant wisdom. Strengthening love is blooming in everything, at her most excellent in the deeps and the rising stars, and the most fascinating heart of all things, because she has embraced the highest sovereign in peace. Hildegard asks us to see that verdant vitality woven through all creation. And Rabia asks us to strip away those forms of attachment so that we can truly see what is of highest worth. So let us take up Mary Oliver's instructions for living, to pay attention to the details in the everyday, be astonished by them, and then tell each other, so that we can be reminded of what a blessing it is to be alive. We can be inspired by all of these mystics, both ancient and modern. May it be so. Blessed be. Let us now sing our final hymn. The words are in your service sheet, but I think that most of you will be familiar with the tune. It's Be Thou My Vision. Please be seated. I'd like to share with you some closing words, a blessing, praying by Mary Oliver. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot, or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but a doorway, the doorway into thanks, and a silence in which another voice may speak. Blessed be, and amen. Now, during our closing music, we are about to take our collection, and it is a chance to support the chapel's work as well as our new good cause, toilet twinning. In this community, we make our contributions in many different ways through our time, our talent, and our treasure. And so you can now make your donation by cash or by card. And there are other ways that you can strengthen your connection with this community through volunteering your time or becoming a chapel member. So do speak to me or one of the board members if you're interested in either of those opportunities. But for now, the collection will now be taken. thanks so much to our Director of Music, John Evans. I think we were all kind of drifted off into a dream there, hadn't we? And thank you to our stewards and helpers and all of you for your generous contributions. Do join us for a cup of tea in the side aisle, and don't forget we'll have our theme circle discussion at the back of the chapel at 12:15. It's a short discussion, we'll be done by 1 o'clock, but if you have thoughts about paying attention, then please do join me at 12:15. Thanks everyone.